Hello, Audioholics, and welcome back. We are wrapping up another day at CES 2016, perhaps saving the best for last, and I'm standing here with maybe the hardest working man in hi-fi. And I know this because you emailed me on New Year's Eve trying to get us in here and always thinking about his products and what they can do for the consumer, and that's Sandy Gross. Sandy, why don't you walk us through a little bit about what you have here at Goldenear with these new speakers, and we'll talk a little bit about the subs as well.
Thanks, Marshall. Well, we're here at CES. You know, this is maybe literally my 60th CES. I've been doing it since 1973. And I'm a little bit tired, so you have to forgive me for that. Anyway, we're showing the new Triton 2 Plus and Triton 3 Plus here. We launched 5 or 6 years ago with the Triton 2 as our first flagship product, and it's done extremely well for us. It's a great speaker. And the 3 followed about a year later. You know, it's 5 or 6 years has gone by, and we came out with the Triton 1, a year and a half ago or so, and the Triton 1 has been a mega hit. As many of you know, it's won Loudspeaker of the Year from almost every publication here in the U.S. and many overseas. And so we wanted to kind of bring the 2 and the 3 up to the sonic signature of the 1, which was the focus of this particular project. So we're showing the new Triton 2 Plus and Triton 3 Plus, which have been updated again to that sonic signature. We did a lot of work on the voicing of the speakers, and this relates to the crossover, the drivers. The drivers are new bass mid-range drivers, but if you look at them, they look the same. What's different? What's new? The cone is new. The surround is new. The voice coil is new, and the spider is new. And this is really the moving part of the driver. It's really what makes a big difference. Even though it looks the same, it's not. So we changed that. They have the new balanced crossover technology that we introduced in the 1 with the polypropylene capacitors. And the DSP that controls the powered subwoofer, both of these speakers, as the 1, have a built-in powered subwoofer. There's a very, very powerful DSP that controls many aspects of it, both its linearity, the way it blends to the rest of the system. So we've totally reprogrammed the DSP, and the end result is speakers that, even though they look pretty much identical to the original 2 and 3, sound dramatically better. The response here has been terrific from everybody that's heard them, and we're very excited.
And it wasn't like the old 2 and 3, the first generation wasn't getting noticed. I mean, people were standing up and saying, these are great sounding speakers, but that Triton 1 came out, and you wanted to capture a little bit of that lightning in a bottle when it came to trickling down to the new Plus series.
That's it exactly, Marshall, and that's what we did. And it was a lot of work. We've been working on it for the last year, and the new models, just to give you a reference, the new 3 Plus is $2,500 a pair. The 2 Plus is $3,500 a pair. And it's interesting, the high end in our industry in some ways has gone crazy. We have a trademark slogan, we make high end affordable. This has been my focus since 1972. But the high end now, you've got $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 speakers. And I know, some of the magazines, they have people assigned to the less expensive speakers. That's under $20,000. Now, $2,500 and $3,500 a pair, in the context of some of the high-end speakers, it's almost the same price point. But I know for a lot of enthusiasts and you folks, that's a big difference, $2,500 or $3,500. So it's 2 different price points, but very similar sounding speakers.
The great thing about the Audioholics is they always know what value looks like regardless of the price tag. Good is good, and it's always great if good also fits your pocketbook. And so we're glad that you've been working on trickling down some of that magic from the Triton 1 into the new 2 and 3 Plus. But you also have another new product that you're going to be showing here today, and we'll get a closer look at that later, and that is a new subwoofer.
Absolutely. We introduced a year ago the SuperSub XXL, and this featured, we have 3 force field subs, and these are less expensive subs, very, very high performance, but I had wanted to make a small, more finely finished, more powerful, more, subwoofer.
Isn't that what all the bass heads really just want? More of everything.
Well, not just more, but tighter and cleaner and lower in distortion and smaller.
Compact.
Exactly. So we introduced the XXL, which is the larger one, came first because we had the drivers to do what we wanted to do. And then the smaller one, the X, we're introducing here. Now, these subwoofers feature a fairly unique technology. They're inertially balanced in two planes. We've seen other inertially balanced subwoofers where we have two drivers or three drivers located around the periphery of the speaker. But here we have two drivers facing each other, and then we have two passive radiators, top and bottom, so it's inertially balanced in two planes. We have a patent pending. We very much believe in passive radiators. I believe in passive radiators. I guess my speakers since the early 70s, almost all of them had passives. And, you could make a great speaker and utilize a passive properly or improperly, and it's not a great speaker. But we've learned a lot about how to do it. And it really, basically, properly utilized, a passive allows you to get much, much more extended bass in a smaller cabinet, which is what we're trying to do. So the SuperSub X that we're showing here, which is $1,250, the XXL is $2,000, are not inexpensive, but from a performance standpoint, they're pretty fabulous.
And when you look at the performance of Super Subs and the Super Sub XXL would certainly qualify, based on the face of it at least, for that designation. $2,000 is really a very nice sweet spot when it comes to probably the most that you can expect out of there. I do want to come back to one piece, and that was the inertial balance. And I think that another benefit of that inertial balance is that it also cuts down on the amount of directional forces, the amount of the pushing and pulling on the cabinet. And as a result, your cabinet is very stable.
Well, it's extremely stable. In fact, one of the things we were doing here at the show is in demonstrating the Super Subs, we take a nickel and put it on its side on top of the sub, go full blast with the sub, and the nickel does not fall over. And part of part of the reason why this is important is when you have inertially, with every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And the driver normally causes the cabinet to move, and that's wasted energy. It's wasted energy, it's distortion, and it's a loss of detail. And so this inertial balancing, you're not losing any energy moving the cabinet. You're getting it all energized into the room, and it really makes quite a difference.
And that brings me to the fact that I brought you a gift, actually, because I'd heard you tell this story about the nickels. So I have this is like a 2011. This is a very modern nickel for like more of the solid state group.
I appreciate it.
And then I have a vintage nickel also. So if you're more of a tube head, you like the old vacuum tubes, you got the vintage. And then of course I know you do a lot of work in the anechoic up in Canada as well. So you got to have a Canadian nickel. And so I'm wondering if the Canadian nickel is going to perform different than the American nickel when it comes to our test. We're going to have to go next door to find out. And you'll want to stay tuned to Audioholics.com to hear some of our impressions, not only on the Triton 2 and 3 Plus, but also the new Super Sub X and the pre-existing Super Sub XXL. And are all these products shipping now?
Well, the XXL is shipping, the Triton 3 Plus is shipping, and the 2 Plus will be shipping in about 2 weeks.
Excellent.
The X, we're off maybe April.
Okay, so if the X turns out to be the best thing ever, you're going to have to put it on your mid-year, halfway to Christmas list. But everything else you could be rushing out and taking home with you today. Thanks a lot for joining us at CES 2016. We're always going to have more coming, and do please stay tuned to Audioholics.com as well as our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Audioholics, to keep abreast of everything that's going on here at CES.